I think one of the key factors in the success is that it's a positive film. It has heroes and villains.
Release your anger. Only your hatred can destroy me.
And that it essentially is a fun movie to watch.
But beyond being a positive film, Star Wars was revolutionary and groundbreaking, no matter what the haters say.
When I first finished Star Wars and everybody said, well, gee, this is fantastic, it's great. You know, what do you think about it? I said, well, it didn't really turn out that well. I'm not really happy with it.
You don't believe in the Force, do you?
But why was it so revolutionary? And how, among so many memorable characters, did Darth Vader become one of the most beloved?
You don't know the power of the dark side.
It was groundbreaking because there was no other choice.
What happens when you, especially when you're making a science fiction film, but almost any film, you're working with limited resources, and you're constantly sort of bumping up against the technology that you have.
Wait! Oh my! What have you done? I'm backwards!
And Star Wars especially bumped up against those. So I was never really able to tell the story that I wanted to tell.
And when life gives you lemons,
I'd develop a way of panning in outer space. I would develop a way of creating a 2.5-foot high character that could act.
Well, you said it, Chewie.
So at that point, really challenges. And especially with the first film, I had very limited resources. I mean, the budget was $9,999,000.
scenes that would now be easier, in theory, with CGI required George and his team to innovate like visionaries.
For the space-age dogfight, detailed models are used.
Don't get technical with me.
With the computer controls developed especially for Star Wars, it was possible to film the elements for this sequence with a freedom never before exercised in motion picture production. By controlling the motion of the camera and by remembering those motions, the computer allows for more complex and visually dynamic photography.
Beyond creativity, the saga had truly endearing characters like the droids. To bring them to life, the team had to get creative, leading to a little-known fact. But first...
Nice way out by the speeder, we don't want any trouble.
I heartily agree with you, sir.
But first, let's talk about other characters, starting with cinema's most beloved villain, Darth Vader.
How is that possible?
It begins with his iconic breathing. How was it achieved?
The breathing for Vader was recorded by putting a little tiny microphone down inside a regulator on a scuba tank. And I breathed through the mask itself, and it breathed in and out of that came the various, paces of Vader breathing.
To carry the weight of the greatest villain of all time, 2 actors were needed because David Prowse's voice didn't convince George.
Start tearing this ship apart piece by piece until you find those tapes. Find the passengers of this vessel. I want them alive!
I can still hear David Prowse's accent in the Darth Vader mask muffled because he would do the real dialogue. It was hilarious and terrifying at the same time because we didn't know what Darth sounded like. That was the first time we heard him. We're like, is that it? Is it going to be some Scottish guy or what is this?
And since everything was going right for George and his team, they chose the best possible voice for the role.
George had hired David Prowse, but he said he wanted a so-called darker voice, and not in terms of ethnic, but in terms of timbre. And the rumor is that he thought of Orson Welles, and then probably thought that Orson might be too recognizable. So what he ends up is picking a voice that was born in Mississippi, raised in Michigan, and was a stutterer. And that happened to be my voice.
Commander, tear this ship apart until you found those plans and bring me the passengers. I want them alive!
Though Vader's voice was later dubbed, they first needed someone physically imposing.
Yeah.
And wanted somebody very big and physical for the part in Star Wars. And when he saw me, I went up to the 20th Century Fox offices in London.
Right.
And he said, well, I've got 2 parts which I'd like you to consider.
And once again, fate smiled on the saga.
And I said, well, what are they? And he said, well, the first one's a character called Chewbacca. And I said, well, what's Chewbacca? And he said, well, it's like a hairy type gorilla that goes through the film on the side of the Gooders. And I thought, well, I don't fancy that very much, George. And I said, what's the other one? And he said, well, the other one's a character called Darth Vader, who's the big villain of the film. And I said, well, don't say any more, George, I'll take the villain's part. And that's how it all came about.
Ah, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So, you have accepted the truth.
The actors did a phenomenal job, but other elements made Vader the greatest villain in cinema.
Leave them to me. I will deal with them myself.
One of those historic moments was the most spoilery line in movie history.
I am your father.
A revelation kept so secret that David and Mark only learned it moments before filming.
I met with Mark and said, you know that Darth Vader's your father.
When I first saw the dialogue that said, Luke, I am your father, I said to myself, he's lying. I wonder how they're going to play that lie out.
We did a few takes, and he finally got into it.
He told me you killed him. No. I am your father.
Earlier, I mentioned that several key elements contributed to the character's success, and another was the composer.
Originally, John was recommended to George Lucas by Steven Spielberg, who had used him on Jaws. And we had all liked the Jaws score very much. It was a traditional symphonic score. And we went through a period in feature films where traditional scores were not used. Popular music scores and jazz scores were the rage in the 60s and into the early 70s. We felt for Star Wars that it was very important that it be a traditional romantic score.
And John was incredibly talented with a keen ear.
Johnny is quite adept at finding the point of view for a scene and augmenting the emotion that's there. He's very good also at maintaining a long piece of music and getting all the variations without making it what we call Mickey Mouse. You know, where you accent every little bump, every little crash. We don't do that.
And then the magic happened.
It looks pretty good. Measure 2 really is Darth Vader's ship. We see the Imperial ship there. Hence the big Vader theme at that bar.
I have felt him, my master.
Darth Vader defined a generation.
I wondered if your feelings on this matter are clear, Lord Vader.
They are clear, my master.
But the saga also had two pivotal roles that posed unique challenges due to technological limits.
We'll be sent to the spice mines of Kessel or smashed into who knows what.
Yes, those were R2-D2 and C-3PO.
I arrive on the set looking very demure in sort of black leotard and tights, and then I think someone with a kind of sort of rubber corset, and then things on my elbows and knees. Then
a rubber corset?
That's the middle bit.
Yeah.
Yes, it's covered in wires. And then the sort of trousers go on, which are plastic, and then the legs slide up, which is very difficult because they've got to go on backwards, then turn around and up. Then the feet, then my real shoes go on, then the feet of the machine go on. And then the chest goes on, two pieces forward and sideways like that. Then the neck slots in, then the arms go up, then the hands go on either side, then the head goes on in two pieces, by which time I've had enough.
They say, I don't think I can make it. You go on, Master Luke. There's no sense in you risking yourself on my account. I'm done for.
For many aliens and ships, sculptures and models were used. But some might not know that R2-D2 was different.
Drop me in, feet into the feet of the robot. I'm sitting in a safety seat, a child's safety seat, with a harness. And I'm in there, that's it.
Do you control the movements of R2?
Yes, they put the lid on. And then I'm in there, right? Then I'm like this. No room to go anywhere.
Are you alright?
Come on.
You were lucky to get out of there.
What more can be said about Star Wars and its characters that hasn't been said already? Maybe we should let the experts handle it.
I thought that it was revolutionary. This is a work of genius.
I had never experienced special effects that were so real. I was dazzled.
I was completely shocked.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You're perfectly welcome, sir.
Comment. If you subscribe,
The Force will be with you, always.